go, I always want to contribute. I'm like, who paid for this? Let me throw it in, let me throw down. I always wound up spending a couple $1,000s, and that's why I had to really stop doing it. It's so easy to make $1 million. Money's out there. It's not hard to make it if you really put in the work. The hard part is investing it, saving it, being disciplined with it, because just as fast as you can make it, you can blow it. All right, so I'm here with my friend Mo. How you doing today?
Good, man. Got great sleep last night, so.
That's always good. I wish I could say the same, man. I've been having trouble sleeping. I took a nap at like 7 o'clock and woke up at like 10.
Yeah. So
then I just like couldn't get back to sleep.
I got you.
But so I wanted to bring you on and talk a little bit about business, talk about the journey of being an entrepreneur, business owner, get your take on it, and we can kind of share some tips and some stories and things like that. So just kind of getting started with it. How did you get started? Like what's your background in, where are you from, and what kind of led you or inspired you to get into entrepreneurship?
Yeah, man. So my dad, he started his first business when he moved here after 2 years of living here. He owned a quick stop right close to my school. So I used to work in the fridge. You ever seen those big fridge behind the grocery store?
Yeah.
But there's somebody in the other end who's filling those up.
Got it.
So since I was like 13, I was doing that. I couldn't really work the cashier because I was in, 16 or 17 to work in the store. So I was doing all the legwork, mopping the floors and everything. And I saw how much my dad made. So that kind of like inspired me. And at school, I used to play soccer. So what I did in my duffel bag, I used to sell like Capri Sun, Doritos, anything you could name. And I had other people selling it for me too. So I used to make like, $200-$300 a week by doing that.
That's awesome. So you were just you're selling seashells by the seashore, just whatever you could do to make a quick buck.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, I didn't even have a phone until like, I was 15. So I wanted to work everything for myself because my parents weren't buying me anything, They say you have to work for it. So that's what I did exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. So are you from Vegas?
No, I'm from Miami.
Oh, from Miami.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I grew up in Dubai. I was born in Bangladesh, grew up a few years in Dubai, and I came to Miami when I was 12.
Okay. What's it like living in Miami?
Miami is fun, man. But, I didn't actually like go out or anything. I was in an 8-year relationship over there. So I was just mainly focused on work. I had 3 jobs. I used to work at Apple, Tesla, and then I used to drive Uber at night. So
you were just grinding, hustling, trying to make money. Did you go to college?
I did actually. I have a 4-year degree in criminal justice and psychology. So I never used it.
How much did that set you back?
About like $75K.
Did you pay it off?
Actually took it off my credit. I hired someone to take it off my credit. So it was pretty cool.
I have to get with you. That. Mine's lower. I only have like 10K, but I went to one semester of here at CSN just because my parents made me do it. But
Yeah, same thing here, bro. I wanted to be an FBI agent. That's what I wanted. That's why I went to school.
That's pretty cool. So you were watching a lot of Criminal Minds and stuff. Yeah. And you were like, that's me.
Yeah. I mean, then I realized you push a lot of paperwork, not just in the field.
Right. Okay. And so then like what was your first like legitimate business, like not Doritos and selling stuff like that? Like what was your first business that you set up and what did that process look like?
So I was actually working at Tesla when I worked my first business. I was cleaning the cars. We were closing, It was how you see the Teslas in the showroom? I was cleaning those end of the day. And then YouTube popped up with an ad. They're like, oh, start your own ATM business. And I thought it was a scam because if you ask everybody, they think that all the banks own the ATMs, but not really, because you can actually start your own ATM business today if you get the license and LLC set up, right? So I watched the whole webinar, and I was like, you know what? I don't have $1,000 right now to spend on a course, so I did a lot of research. I reached out to someone on Instagram, and they taught me everything for $300. So after that, I was able to get my first 3 ATMs within 30 days. I actually bought those with my credit cards because I didn't have that much funds back then. My credit was about 720, so I applied for like a bunch of credit card at once within like 5 minutes. I remember I got approved for like $59,000, no interest rate, 12 to 15 months. and I took that risk to buy like a bunch of ATMs. And then I filled those ATM up also with the credit card money. I did something. I went to the Apple store and then I returned it on my debit card. You know how people do that. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and I got about like 9,000 in cash to fill up my ATMs. So that's how I got started in the ATM business.
So you bought a bunch of iPhones, or what'd you buy?
So I bought a bunch of MacBooks, right, with my credit card. So I wanted to go return it. I was like, hey, I lost that card. Can you return it on this debit card? So it's a hack that you could do to pull out cash from your credit card.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you could do that anymore, but...
Well, they do cash advances, but I think the fees and all that stuff, they're pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy, yeah.
Okay, and so how much is an average ATM cost, like, to get started?
So brand new ATMs installed is $2,200, $1,500 if you get a refurbished one, but you still get a 1 year. So I was buying them refurbished.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how much, you fill it with your own cash, right?
Yeah, you fill it with your own cash.
Okay.
Yeah, you could also hire Brinks. So let's say you have a strip club and they run through 20, 30K cash every day, right? Busy location. You could hire Brinks to actually manage the ATM. They will pay you all the fees, but they keep $1 per transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much can an ATM make? I guess it depends on location, right?
Yeah.
But
So I'll give you a perfect example, right? You go to a gas station. They have an average of 1,000 to 2,500 people walking in and out. If 1% of the people use the ATM, let's say of 1,000, let's say it's 100, right? So 100 transaction at $3, that's 3K right there. So you can, you just have to see what kind of location is the best. For example, like strip clubs, right? We have 3 ATMs inside Club 11 right now. We charge 20% fee. So 20% fee, if they take out $100, we take $20 fee. So if you do the math, a lot of people are drunk in there, right? Yeah. And it's a strip club and it's also a club. So what happens is that there's a high volume of transaction every single day, and there's 3 ATMs there. The highest we ever made in one day was 7K in fees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And so do you use a Brinks truck for that one?
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And so if someone wants to get started and buy some ATMs or start that business, is that something that you support them with?
I used to have a course, but the thing is that with courses right now, I don't really believe in it because I had about 700 people buy the course and half of them never even looked at the course after they bought it. So really? I kind of like stopped that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, dude, you're buying it for $500. Why aren't you even like looking at the videos? You know, it's just like, I just gave up on it, to be honest. Because I mean, if you go to like YouTube, there's so many videos you could just like, start. They explain A through Z, like how to do it, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess nowadays everyone's an expert in something, right? There's all these entrepreneurs that are, coming out with courses and things that like, look at me, and who some of them realistically have never even done it. They're just they're trying to make money off the courses. So I guess that's
all the e-commerce guys do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's what ad agencies and all these social media marketing. I definitely, when I was working at the hospital, we worked with 3 or 4, and a lot of them just have a cookie cutter approach that they don't really care about driving a result for the person. They're just trying to, get in as many clients as they can and make as much money as they can.
Yeah.
But that it's just not scalable, Yeah. And so what are you working on now? Like, so that was your first business. You stopped doing that. Well, you still got some ATMs yourself that are running, but you're not avidly buying them, right?
No, not anymore. Yeah.
And so what are you working on now?
So I started e-commerce in 2017. I used to do drop shipping, and then I changed my whole model in 2019 because Amazon didn't allow drop shipping anymore. So right now we're doing Amazon FBA and wholesale. So it's basically finding U.S. suppliers in the U.S., not Chinese suppliers or any other countries, because the shipping takes a long time to get here, and sometimes the product is counterfeit. So you can get your Amazon store actually shut down. So what we do now, we talk to reliable suppliers that ships it in within, 7 days. We basically buy the product from them, and sometimes we get it to our house and warehouse, and then we prep them and send it out to Amazon. Some suppliers will prep it for you and send it to Amazon also. So that's a plus if they do that. So we have 3 suppliers like that, one in Cali and 2 in Florida, that actually preps the product for us and sends us to Amazon.
And then what kind of products are they?
Household products. So everybody has a niche, right? Anything from avocado cutter, right, to napkins, to shampoo. And like for today, right, what kind of products did you use?
Shampoo, conditioner,
Yeah,
toothpaste.
exactly. So
Water.
usually buy that every month or every 2 months. So that's what we focus on in our team, finding products that people will buy every single month. So during quarantine, I made the most amount of money ever possible with my team during quarantine because everybody was buying products online.
Sure.
I had people buy Gatorade, like the big box of Gatorade on there,
Directly from you.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're also even our store selling Prime. You know about that product? Yeah, so we're selling that on our stores right now. So we're selling like a bunch of different things, but we mainly focus on household products.
And so what's the process of looking at which products to focus on given like competition? Because Amazon is kind of like Google in a sense of when you search, they're going to give you the best possible result for what you're searching for.
Yeah.
Right. So like you've got to get listed and you've got to rank. So what does that process look like?
So we use different softwares. There's one really good one. It's called Jungle Scout to scrape the products. So you can go on that website and create an account. You pay about like $100 a month for that software, and it will give you a category, what kind of products you want to sell. So you have to scrape those products and see exactly how much the profit margin you want to make and how much funds you have, right? So the more funds you have to buy the products, the more you can negotiate. Let's say Prime, right? You want to buy $50K worth of Prime. You can actually negotiate that because you're buying worth of $50K.
Sure.
So you can kind of talk to the supplier to see exactly how much you can buy each product, and then they can also send it out to Amazon after you negotiate the deal, sign the contract. So it's all about doing the right product research. So a lot of people, they buy one product of $10K, right? When let's say someone new to e-commerce, right? They're like, oh my God, this is gonna sell, right? And they buy one product of $10K. So what I recommend when someone is doing e-commerce, when you're first starting out, divide that into 10 times, right? Buy 10 different products, not like 10K of one product. Now you're not spreading yourself too thin, right? That the 1K of product, you're basically doing initial research, right? Which is gonna sell out most, right? Let's say 5 of those products sell out, right? Now you have 5K back plus the profit. Now whatever is sold out, that's why you buy more. So that's how I got started in the beginning.
What does the process look like if someone wants to start with you guys and get a store going? And what separates you from other people that are doing this? Because I've had multiple people approach me about, hey, set up this automation, set up your store. It was Facebook, now it's Amazon.
Yeah.
And I know that some people have been taken for some money because it's not necessarily cheap to get started.
Yeah.
What separates you guys, and what can you kind of say about that?
Yeah, so what we do, we mainly look for investors and also people who own other businesses. We don't really take clients that are like a regular Joe, right? Because they don't really understand how business work, right? So we have clients that are like doctors, in different positions too. They kind of understand what we do, right? So I would say about 70 to 80% of the companies that's running automation right now, they're not going to survive next year because they don't know what they're doing, right? They see the good money up front, the upfront fee. They're like, oh yeah, that's all they care about, right? They don't really have a good infrastructure built in the U.S. or what the VAs are. The VAs could be in Philippines, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, right? They rely on their VAs to run their store. But we don't. We have managers here that manages the stores, and the VAs doing all the legwork, right? So if the VAs are messing up, we're able to catch it. We're able to, train them again to what they're doing. So I would say anyone who is like investing into automation stores, do your research. Do your research on that company because most likely you're gonna get scammed, right? So tell them to open up 10 stores. If they're running more than 10 stores, tell them to open up the stores, and you want to see the profit sheet. You want to see the actual store live, have them refresh it, go to like last 7 day sales, last 30-day sales, last 90-day sales, and compare that numbers to the spreadsheet they have opened up. And if you see anything that doesn't look like, real, that's how you know like they're not a good automation company. So when clients talk to me, right, there's a chance your store can get suspended, right? On the sales call, I'll be like, hey, yeah, your store gets suspended. It can take anywhere between 7 days to 30 days. What happens? The client said, oh, the other company didn't tell me that. So that's how I was able to close like more clients than other people, because they're not telling people they can get suspended, right? So once you're honest, and I would actually follow up with my clients. That's one of the tactics that I do. I don't follow up with a second call. They're like, oh, when you do a like annoying like follow up, they're like, they just want my money, right? Yeah. So I show them everything on the first call, send them a contract, and it's up to them, right? I send them my wire info, and that's it. I don't really close them right then and there, but they'll come back to us after they do their research, because most of these other companies are not legit, right? They can't really show the numbers that we can do. So that's why we have about like 5 to 10 clients a month that's coming in for us right now.
So, I mean, to me, it sounds like the biggest difference is that you guys are focused on the customer and the client and making sure that they're set up to win versus just let me collect this upfront fee and, get as many clients as possible. And I don't care if their store gets shut down. I don't care if, they even make money. I'm trying to make, some quick cash. Is that?
Yeah.
Sound like
I even help clients because, my name is out there right now. So I get DMs from other people. They're like, oh, he took my money, this and this. And I actually rounded up like 10 people to go on a class action 8 lawsuit for that company. And they hired my lawyer to go basically sue that company and get their money back. And they didn't get their money back. They got only partial. Yeah,
they probably spent it because they're
probably broke. Did. Yeah. That's the thing with, money, nowadays we were talking about it earlier, right? A lot of people make fast money and they spend it, right? And then when it comes to their clients, they don't really have that insurance to pay that back because they probably spend it on a Lambo, a club in Vegas or Miami, So.
Yeah. And I think to me, like my advice for young entrepreneurs or people that want to make money and scale and grow is you got to have discipline. You've got to be able to, you got to be able to say no.
Yeah.
You can't, especially living in a place like Vegas where there's a nightclub open every night and there's a show and there's this and there's that. You've got to be able to stay focused on your goals, stay focused on what you're doing, because, I mean, what I learned is as quick as you can make $1 million, you can spend $1 million.
Yeah.
And it can go quick if you're not disciplined. You don't have the right structure set up. So one thing that I have done is set up structures in my business. One of them is called Profits First, and it's pretty simple. As soon as that money gets deposited in my account, a percentage of it goes into another account, and I act like it doesn't exist.
Gotcha.
So you take your profits first, and then you run your business off of what's left over. And look, sometimes are you going to have to dip into that profits to manage your business? Sometimes, yes, but for the most part, you take that money and you build it over time, and you can use that to do some of the things we're talking about. Have a store, have some ATMs, things that are passive income. Take some work to get there, but if you're disciplined and you're saying no, and you're able to be like, no, I'm not going to the club tonight. No, I'm not. Like people, we were talking about it before, like people hit us up all the time, like on Tuesdays and even Sundays. I'm like, I just don't go out on Sundays. Like I got to be ready to go on Monday because I got people relying on me. We've got, 60, 70 people here at the solar company that they rely on me to be here every day. They're constantly calling. I got to support them. And so, that'd be my biggest advice for some people is you got to stay disciplined. And one thing that you said too is, about what separates you guys that I think has been my biggest lesson in being in business is that if you just focus on the money, you're not going to scale.
Yeah.
You're not going to build something that's sustainable. If you focus on other people and focus on your customer and focus on your client and really building something that makes a difference, the money will come tenfold.
Yeah. You don't even have to run ads or marketing.
You really don't. Yeah. You really don't. And one thing that, my mentor taught me is give without expectation of anything in return, right? And so that hit me hard because in the past year building this solar company and building it with Amari, we gave blindly to people, right? We were bringing people on our team. We wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. We put people up in apartments and paid their rent in condos. You know, we paid bills. We really just went out of our way. We're like, you guys are going to go out there and put in the hard work of going out and knocking on doors, right? We're going to take care of you. And so we did that, you know, without hesitation all year. And what wound up happening was people wound up leaving, right? Eventually people wound up leaving for more money in the solar industry. And, you know, it was hard to continue to give, continue to be generous, and continue to support people when, you know, that kind of stuff was happening. And so it just goes back to continuing that lesson of give without expectation of anything in return. It will continue to bring the blessings back into your life, and they'll be bigger than, you know, if you're, like I said before, just chasing the money, chasing a dollar.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, the craziest thing I ever experienced is starting a business. I was able to write one of my employees a $49,000 check in a month. That was his commission that he closed, you know? And I was thinking, like, 2 years ago, I was like, dude, I didn't even make that in 2 years working at Apple, you know? And those, you got to have loyal people, dude. In my team, like what I did, everyone in my team has their own business now. I'm the big investor in that business, but we have a 50-50 saying on the business. So what I do, if I hire an employee, I would basically have them on hourly or salary. From there, I would basically have them on like monthly retainer, and then after that, I would make them my business partner. Especially after 2-3 years, if they show that they're proven, you know, they're loyal. That's how I kind of like scale all my businesses. Having one person just be in charge. If I'm on vacation or if I have to go out of town, I know I can rely on that person to run the business, right? One of the biggest thing that I learned being an entrepreneur is that you have to have what's it called? People that's in your team that's willing to do anything, you know? Because we're here to make money too, right? And I had to basically like cut a lot of people off, made my circle smaller, because even my friends, they were never my clients, but they were after, you know, because I had money, right? So once I made $1 million, I kind of like started cutting my circle smaller and smaller, because once I cut that spending off, all my friends went away, you know? Now I'm friends with the people I'm actually doing business with, right? So that's one of the biggest lessons I learned, is that keep your circle small when you start making money.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's kind of something we have as the culture here at the solar company is a lot of these companies, they don't care whether you work part-time, whether you work a couple days a week, you know, what your background is. They'll just like, come on board, come join our team, and let's go work together. Well, for us, we have a sorry, I fucked that up. Yeah. We have a process that's slow to hire, quick to fire. We only want to surround ourselves with people who are hustlers, people who are up to big things and want to really get to that next level of their life. And it just means no excuses, no bullshit. Yeah. Every single day, you're ready to grind, you're ready to hustle. We even have some people in that training room right now that are some of our friends, one of them in there. And I told him, like, straight up, look, bro, if you want to do this part-time and you want to go and party on the weekend and not show up, like, don't even come to the interview. Yeah. Because I don't mess around like that, bro. Like, we are serious about our business and serious about the people we want to surround ourselves. And you wind up honestly becoming the people that you do surround yourself with. Yeah. And it's like you said.
And we see that a lot in Vegas. Yeah.
We really do. Yeah. And it's like you said, people are around you when things are good and things are great and you're making money and there's all the benefits in it for them. But as soon as things get difficult and things get hard, you really get to see who the loyal ones are, the true friends, the true, people, true relationships in your life. Because a lot of people do wind up running away and going and chasing the next big thing, the next shiny object, the next dollar somewhere else. And, it just, I always wish them luck, good luck to you, but you're out of my life now and I don't want to talk to you. Yeah. I'm going to continue on my path and continue doing what I'm doing. And, you didn't fit the circle. Like you said, the circle got smaller and you just got
Yeah.
moved into your own.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like like I told you, I grew up in Miami, right? I used to be in the car, like the lowered car and all that. Those were my friends, right?
Yeah.
And they spend their every penny like in those cars. As soon as they got paid, they bought parts from it, right? And as soon as I started my first business, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna get scammed. This is gonna happen. You're never gonna survive in that world." I'm like, "I'm gonna try." So I left all those friends, started my first business, and now those same friends are in my DMs asking for free shit. Like, "Oh, can you give me your course for free? Or can you teach me this for free?" But I can't do that because there's other people that pay me good money, their hard-earned money to start this business, right? So it just, you're right about keeping a small circle. Vegas is also like, I lived in Cali too for 9 months, and I lived here for 3 years now. One thing about Cali, you can kind of see who the fake people are once you. But here it's hard, dude. People are like actors nowadays, you know? It's hard to figure out because everybody act like ballers, you know? They go to the clubs, they're driving these cars, they're living in this house, but it's not theirs. None of it is theirs, you know? Like, it's just hard to see who's like real or not in Vegas.
100%. You
Yeah.
see, like, there's all these comp bottles and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm always like hesitant when it comes to that stuff because I always when I go, I always want to contribute. I'm like, who paid for this? Let me
Yeah.
throw it in. Let me throw down. And I'm like, I always wound up spending a couple $1,000s, and that's why I had to really stop doing it. It's so easy. Like I said before, it's so easy. You can make $1 million. The money's out there. It's not hard to make it if you really put in the work.
Yeah.
The hard part is investing it, saving it, being disciplined with it, because just as fast as you can make it, you can blow it.
Yeah.
I think the most I've spent, at a club was last year. I spent like 10 grand on a table at Travis Scott, and it was like just not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't even remember it.
Yeah.
I don't remember the night. I don't remember who was there. No, I don't like it. It wasn't worth it in the grand scheme of things. When I look at, some of the stuff I did last year, I got to learn the lessons from that to go into this year and to be able to save a whole lot more money and invest that money, and the ability to make some moves. Because at the end of the day, like, partying is fun, clubbing is fun, but building a business is really what's fun. Taking something from nothing and turning it into something that generates income and also helps people and impacts people, like, that's truly fun. And I'm getting to the point in my life. I'm 27 now. A lot of people say that's super young, but I just look at it as like, all that fun party stuff is kind of behind me. Now I'll go out and have some fun here and there, but for the most part, like, I'm really getting down into what's important, which is building something that's long lasting and sustainable that makes a difference for people, because I know that's what's going to set me up for my future. Because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you and I know this both, our most, thing that we seek the most is freedom. Yeah. Right? The freedom to be able to do what we want, when we want, with who we want it, whenever we want to do it. Yeah. If we wanted to, tomorrow go to Europe for a month and check it out and see how it is, like, we can afford it. We have people that can run our business while we're gone. At the end of the day, when we're there, we'll probably be like, after a week, like, I think it's time to get back to work and go back to Vegas, because, any entrepreneur that's really grinding and hustling like ourselves, like, it's just, you can't sit still. Like, you're always.
Dude, that happens to me every time. Like, the 5th day on the vacation, I'm like, I can't wait to go back, start making some more money, The thing is that what's great about us, even when we're doing all this stuff, it's like we're putting food in other people's plates, I think that's where the blessing comes from, because a lot of people that we probably know, they're entrepreneurs 1 or 2 days out of the month. But us, every single day, bro. We gotta think about, like, even when I'm like, the other day I took a call at midnight and it was for business, and my girl got pissed. I'm like, that's the entrepreneurial life. You have to take a call. We don't clock out ever. You know what I mean? I'm answering texts, DMs, like, every single day, every time of the day. So
yeah, I definitely learned that when I lived in Mexico working for these guys. And the cool part was, like, I lived with them, and so they ran a large hospital. There was 200 employees. It was a multiple 7-figure a month business that was helping a lot of people, cancer patients. Yeah. However, I got to live a lifestyle with them of luxury. They had nice cars. I lived on the beach in Puerto Rico for a year. I lived in a mansion in Nashville for 6 months during COVID. I was quarantined there. I lived in Coronado, right on the water. And so what I learned from them is it was nonstop. It was 7 days a week. It was, my business takes a priority. What we're building takes a priority. And I also learned a big thing from them is that when you're in business, you're going to get punched in the mouth. Yeah. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to experience failure. And sometimes it's hard to get up. It's hard to get back up. Sometimes you want to give up. Sometimes you want to just give in. But the ones that are able to adapt and the ones that are able to get up and try again and move forward are the ones that wind up eventually being successful and eventually, creating things that impact tons and tons of people. I saw these guys get screwed over. I saw them get taken advantage by Mexico, cartel in Mexico, and people, just taking money, bribing them, things like that, like crazy stories. And their mission was bigger. Their mission was bigger than the circumstances. They wanted to help people. They wanted to treat cancer. They wanted to, be able to make a change and make a difference in that environment. And so, it didn't matter to them what happened. And it was interesting that they had a fighting background because every time they got, punched in the mouth or knocked down, they got right back up. Yeah. And so I definitely learned that after experiencing a lot of stuff of, half of our team left and, income, when that happened, when half your team leaves, your income goes in half. Yeah. And it's just rebuilding and having to set some core values and set principles of who do I want to be around now? What am I really here to do? What's my mission? What's our long-term goal? And that's really what space we're in now is a rebuilding mode, and things are going really well. We've got the right people in the right seats. We're reading books on what we need to do to how to formulate the business and how to structure it. And so I'm super excited to finish out this year strong, get next year going. And a lot of changes have happened in the solar industry. And so a lot of companies are going to wind up going away and going in other states. And so I'm just excited to really take over is our goal. We want to be the dominant force here in Vegas, the most amount of people in the field, the marketing. We want people to know our brand, eventually do our own installations instead of just being a dealership. And so we've got a lot of things we're working on that I'm excited about. At the same time, doing that, but also, other companies, right? Other businesses that I've got is this podcast studio, right? What I really want to do is continue to impact and help business owners, people like us that don't have a lot of time, where we can hop on a podcast for an hour, and then after that, we've got 20 to 30 pieces of content ready to go for Instagram, for TikTok, for our social media, which at the end of the day drives our businesses. Yeah. And it's a way that it's just a good avenue that a lot of people, Alex Hormozy, Ryan Pineda, Gary Vee, people use this method of taking long form content and chopping it up into smaller pieces so that they can have tons of content everywhere they go. Yeah.
I think what Gary Vee said that stood me out is that if your company is not a part of a media company, your company is not going to survive in the next 2 years. I believe that, because even if you have a solar company, you need to make content because it's free, right? If you do content, you push out 2 videos a day, short form content every day on TikTok, Instagram, and also on YouTube, right? It's going to pop up. You just need to be consistent. I seen my friend Sean Kelly started his podcast. I think I was I was on his 3rd podcast and he started. Now he's doing 8 to 10 a day. And then he's killing it. He has over 16 billion views right now. Wow. He's in top 10 podcasts for business podcasts right now. And he just got Andrew Tate's friend on the podcast. So it's getting there, Yeah. So you just need to be consistent with the content. That's what I do. I post it everywhere on my TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It's just free marketing, Everybody's stuck to their phone, right? A lot of people, if you think about it, someone who's looking to do solar, right? If they're in the right path, they're following, they're not watching chicks on Instagram. They're actually following business pages, right? To motivate them, following Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, and all these guys. They're on the right path, and they see your content. They say, oh, this guy lives in Vegas. Oh, let me hit him up. That's a lead for you right there to see if you can hire for him for your team, right? So that's what makes us, I think, difference between all other entrepreneurs and businesses. It's because they're not focusing on the media, you know? So that's what I want to do, like focus on the media. I've been doing it. I've been doing content since like 2019, you know? So I just wanted to create more content because you also never know who you're helping too, dude. I got a DM the other day. This dude is like, hey, bro, can you answer me? I'm about to kill myself. I'm like, what the heck? Like,
Wow.
and I had to make that call. I literally called him on Instagram and had a talk with him for like 20 minutes. I was like, you know, I gave him my number. I was like, if you ever need anything, let me know, you know? And that's not the first time that happened. It happened a few times already. People does, I'm not gonna lie, people do look up to you. You never know who's watching your content and how they're following it, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
I think what stops most people is being impatient. And so, you know, most people, especially when it comes to podcasts, is they want to just make one podcast or two or three and it doesn't go viral and they're like, oh, I give up.
Yeah.
You know, it takes people like you said, you know, your friend he's doing 8 to 10 a day.
Yeah.
Like it takes that level of intensity. You look at people like Joe Rogan and Hormozy, like how many podcasts they have. It's hundreds, it's thousands of podcasts and hours and effort that they put into it.
Yeah.
You know, and when they first started, they didn't go viral either.
Yeah.
You know, and so it really takes patience. And I don't think that a lot of people in these generations, these younger ones, have a lot of patience.
No.
They're all, you know,
Fast money.
fast money. Yeah. I want to make more money and work half as hard for, you know, it just doesn't make sense. It's not the mindset I grew up with. And my dad was a business owner. He owned multiple restaurants. So I was working from when I was 12 years old, bussing tables, making pizzas. I really did everything there. And, you know, I learned a lot from him of like how to treat a business even when you're not the owner of the business, you treat it like you do own it.
Yeah.
And so just a lot of people are just patient nowadays. They don't want to work for it. They just want that quick money grab without actually putting in the effort, putting in that long-term work. So for young entrepreneurs, like, be patient. Stop comparing yourself to all the people you see online because most of it is cap.
Yeah.
Most of it is fake. They probably don't own that car. They probably not even a private jet. Yeah. It's probably just, you know,
a podcast studio.
A podcast studio. Like, it's just, you know, audit the people that you're following and are they really genuine? Are they authentically giving you content? You know, I look at the word influencer, like people say I'm an influencer. People say, you know, I'm this, I'm that. But like, what are you influencing? What are you doing? Are you just posting ass pics and, you know, your body? Like, who are you impacting doing that versus the person putting out content, trying to help people, trying to get people better? Like we just talked about, like, audit the influencer, quote unquote, that you're following and that you're consuming on a daily basis. Cause those thoughts and that content eventually is going to dictate who you are as a person every day. You're going to make decisions based off of the people you're looking at, celebrities. And so just like be patient for young people and know that most of what you see online isn't real. Yeah.
And I believe that because, like, you know, in relationship, right, I could, like, say, for example, a couple of guys on his Instagram and he's looking at all his model pictures. They're sunking their stomach in. They're editing those photos, right? And he's looking at his girl like, oh, I could have been with that, right? So their mindset of society right now is going to shit because they're comparing social media in real life versus real life. But even those girls are not perfect, you know? And they're like I said, they're editing those photos. So it's kind of like ruining kind of like society right now, right? It's because they're seeing all these content. They think this girl is perfect, but she's really not in real life, you know? And they're ruining their relationship by themselves being on social media, you know? And like my business phone, I don't have social media. I only have, you know, my personal phone, social media. I barely go on it on my personal phone because it doesn't make me any money. Right. Yeah. So those are the things. And one of the other things that I did, 2021, that was like my biggest like year that I made money on it because it was during quarantine. A lot of people wanted to start a business, and that's how I made my first $1 million. And one of my mentors told me, is like, how long are you going to keep that money? I was like, I don't know. I want to buy a Lambo, you know? And I did. And I put like about $50K down. And then he's like, this is what you do with the rest of your money. I understand you bought a Lambo. I was like, that's cool. And then he told me put it into life insurance. I took that money. I put it in life insurance. I was able to take 90% out. And with those 90% money, I was able to invest into different businesses and different avenues in my life. And I still have it making 5 to 12% every year. So that's one of my like biggest takeaway, because knowing me at that age, I probably would have spent half of it already, you know?
100%.
So that's why, like, a lot of people, that's why it's really good to have a mentor. Like, everybody has a mentor. Even if they say they don't have a mentor, everybody needs to get a mentor, There's always, even like the biggest guys, right? We see on social media, Alex Hormozi has a mentor. Gary Vee had a mentor. It could be your dad. It could be your brother. Anybody could be a mentor, just guiding you through life. And I believe huge in that. I have 3 mentors right now. And, I kind of talk to them like every week and it's just like, it's good to hear other people. They don't even have to make more money than you, right? It's just like, even like advices in relationship, like you need a mentor.
100%. And it can be like someone that's, older that, didn't necessarily do the things that they're telling you to do right now. Like my dad, for example, he was a business owner, entrepreneur, like I said before, and he made a lot of money, but he also lost it all, filed for bankruptcy when I was in high school. Yeah. So he now has been, really focused on making sure I'm not making the same mistakes that he did. So, setting up things like life insurance policy, setting up, investment, retirement accounts, things like that, to when you put the money in there, you just act like it doesn't exist. And one day we're going to really be thankful that we took the steps as a young person for when we're at that age, that we're going to have stability. We'll have, stuff there. Cause as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there's ups and there's downs, and you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. Quarantine can completely wipe out a business. And I think that's why we focus a lot of stuff on online, but at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen. So having that stuff in place is super important. Yeah. One of the things that you were saying before too is, when it comes to, we were talking about social media and people posting fake stuff. The reality of it is that those people probably aren't even happy. Yeah. Right? What I learned from, living a luxury lifestyle is like that stuff doesn't make you happy. Yeah. You buy a house, you can drive nice cars, you can live on the beach, somewhere really nice. And, at the end of the day, like, you got to realize what's important in your life. Family's important, your relationships, the people around you, like that stuff that brings happiness. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to gratitude as well. Is if you're not happy right now in your life, take a moment to reflect on what you do have. Take a moment to reflect on the things that you're grateful for. Yeah. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have a job? Do you have a car? Doesn't matter what kind it is. Yeah. Do you have food every day? Living in Tijuana in a third world country, I got humbled. Yeah. I saw how people lived. I saw doctors that worked at our hospital that made $2-3 grand a month, and that's standard out there. Yeah. Like, and that's a doctor. You look at a regular employee that makes $500 a month and works 40 hours a week. Like, I'm grateful for the opportunities I have, grateful for what I do, and I think that helps me just maintain that level of happiness and not getting fooled by what I see out there, because, like I said, it most likely isn't real, and it's sad because a lot of those people are depressed and they don't actually.
It's only temporary happiness.
Yeah, they're using that stuff to boost their dopamine levels and make them happier. The likes, the comments, the DMs, all that stuff. But in reality, they look themselves in the mirror in the morning and they're just not happy with what they see.
Yeah, that's why you see like high level of like suicide rates in celebrities and also influencers, because they're not really happy, Like, for example, like 2 years ago, like I love cooking right now, right? 2 years ago, if you told me that, I love cooking, I would have left myself, Like right now, like, dude, I used to be 205 pounds and I lost hella weight. I got, like, as I'm getting older, I got to be on my health because my family has diabetes, high blood pressure and all of that, right? So that's what I'm like focusing on right now. It actually makes me happy. Wake up in the morning, I don't feel any kind of way, because when I was heavier, dude, I used to wake up in the morning, feel like nauseous, So now, like, my health is on point. I'm going to the gym and it actually makes me happy. And those things doesn't make a lot of people happy, right? But like, as I'm like doing these things like in my daily life, like I say I'm blessed right now, because the gratitude you're talking about, like, yeah, it's cool to drive a Lambo, but like the other day I've been driving Camry for a week, I was like, man, this feels comfortable, So it kind of like humbling, right? And I see like also like you talking about TJ, I went there a few times and I see kids like begging on the street, it's kind of really sad to see because every third world country that I go to, I see it. I went to Philippines, saw that. I even had a meal with like few of like the homeless kids because I'm like, dude, like this could have been me if I didn't grow up in a different country. You know what I mean? So it just kind of humbles you. It makes you more hungry when you come back here. My parents, they actually in Dubai, they own an orphanage for girls. They make their own clothing. That's how they able to support that place. One day, that's when I get older, I want to be able to do the same thing, because blessing comes in many ways, dude. Like you never know. The more money you give away, like to the poor, the more you get back. That's what I believe in. That's why I kind of like my religion. Both of my parents are like Muslim. And in the religion itself, you're supposed to give out like 30% of your money to the poor month of Ramadan. So I really believe in that. I'm not a huge believer in like, in the religion, but I still follow certain rules, and that's what I think, like when I make money, if I can help out someone in a way, right? Like every Christmas, like my goal this year is to get a car and for Christmas and give it away to a family that really needs it, right? It could be a 3K car and it will be a blessing, right? And it could change someone's life because they could do DoorDash or Uber Eats, right? So that's what I want to do this Christmas. Just give a car away because you never know who you're helping.
Mari started the Give Back Kickback.
Yeah.
And basically what that is we get together with a group of friends and we make care packages for the homeless. And so we're giving back and we're kicking back. We're having fun. We usually have drinks. We hang out. We watch, the fights or the sports or whatever it is. And, we make these care packages and we keep them in our cars. Everyone takes them as they leave. And it's just something to have to give away. When you see a homeless person on the street, they're always asking for money. We know what they do with that money. And so giving them, it has water, some food in it, socks. We collected 100 jackets a few months ago, or this was actually earlier this year when it was colder. We did 100 pairs of shoes. And so stuff like that is definitely, it makes your soul feel good that you're making a difference for people. And my thing is, like, I see all these influencers that film them doing it and all that stuff. It's just like, stop that.
Yeah.
But we should get together on for this Christmas because every year here at Veer, we go to Target or Walmart and we buy a bunch of just Christmas gifts for young kids, for young for families. And so we get lists from the school districts of families that are just low income that can't afford it. And so we actually usually choose a couple families and bring them a tree. We decorate it. We fill it with gifts. It's a really euphoric experience being able to go and experience that, dropping off the gifts and seeing the faces of the people. So we'll have to get together on that and we can double it up or something.
Yeah, of course,
like
bro. I'm down. Yeah. That's the thing. We live in Vegas. We don't see that part of the area where the family lives, and kind of makes you like humbling too. Yeah, I like that, dude. Yeah.
So before we kind of wrap this up, like what advice would you give to entrepreneurs that want to get someone's watching this, they aren't making money, they're not happy with where they're at, they want to step into something, like what should they do?
One of the best advice I could give you, anyone like who's young entrepreneurs starting a business or thinking about starting a business, is pick a niche and stay consistent. Even if it's a media company, solar, e-commerce, even if you have like a camera in your hand, you can make money with that, right? So my best advice is stay consistent and be relatable to people. Even when you make it, do not flex like the Lambo every day or your watch. Just make sure you take care of your people and be relatable, because a lot of people are going to be following you and following your journey if you're relatable. Tell your story to the people, how you made it, that's all I have to say, because I stay consistent in all my businesses and it's been a blessing so far.
I love it. Do you do any, have you ever done like vision boards, things like that?
Yeah. I have, so when I was like 15, I have a poster of a GTR that I wanted to get, and I wrote everything I wanted in my life in that poster. So I'm just crossing it off, like taking vacations and things like that. Yeah, I really believe in that too.
Yeah, I do as well. And it's crazy because you don't know when it's going to show up. You don't know what it looks like. And especially when you don't have it right there, like really truly believing that you're going to get it and that you deserve it.
Yeah.
I remember doing one when I came to Vegas. I moved here when I was 18. I did a vision board at this retreat I was on, and I put on there, I put BMW M3. I put a group of doctors, because at the time I was actually going business to business to different doctors' offices selling medical testing. And so that's why I put the doctors. I put house on the beach. I put some other stuff on there, but it was like amazing because at the time I didn't know what that was going to look like. But fast forward, 3 years later, I moved down to Mexico. I was living on the beach. I was working at a hospital, so that kind of explained the doctors. Didn't know it was going to look like that. And then I bought, during COVID, I actually bought an M4. So it was like, I didn't know it was going to look like that. I didn't know that it was going to happen, but in my heart, I truly believed that I was going to make it happen for sure. And so, visualize your goals, write down your goals, picture it, believe you're going to get it, and you will.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like, that's the one thing, like you said, believe in yourself, because my family didn't believe in me, and that was really hard for me. They wanted me to go in the family business. My two older brothers still work for my dad. They only get paid $5K a month, which is nothing in this world right now, And I moved away, and once I started making more money than my dad, he stopped talking to me. So, I only talk to my mom now, so it's kind of crazy. And they wanted me to get an arranged marriage in Dubai, and I said no. So that cut the deal, I guess.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, that kind of is a whole nother topic of like people that doubt you, and you can't listen to that. You can't listen to the noise. You can't listen to the haters, the people that want to see you fail, or maybe they want to see you succeed, but it's got to be their way. And so, like, I had a lot of that, especially like not going to college. I was here in Vegas broke, and I was just trying different things. I did real estate. I was working, customer service. I sold jewelry on eBay. Like, I was doing the doctor medical sales. I was just like trying things out, and I got made fun of by my friends. I got, like teased about doing that stuff. And it's like, they're on their path and they've got tons of debt, and they're in a job where they're making, what I make in a month. And sometimes, even more than that. So it's like, you can't listen to those people. You got to believe in yourself. You got to have that confidence that you're who you say you are. You don't have to fit inside that box that society tries to put you in, of going to college, getting a degree, and pursuing a job that, sits you in the same place every day, that you can't grow from there.
If you think about it, the whole American dream is kind of like a scam, right? You go to after high school, you go to college, right? You get into debt. Your girlfriend get married. Wedding costs money. House costs money. That's another debt. Society tells you buy a car that you can't afford, right? Every month. That's another debt. So now you're spending your whole lifetime paying off that debt, and somebody's going to carry out that debt to your family. So it kind of sucks. I didn't know about this. I found out recently you can actually carry debt from your family to your name, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's why you got to have everything set up in a trust and all that good stuff. And that's the thing, the student loans, you can't even file bankruptcy and get rid of it. Yeah. It's like, there's a lot of scams out there that,
And the school is the same 20 years ago. They're still the same books. They just have different covers.
Yeah. Why is it? Yeah, there's definitely, like, education nowadays. It's like, why aren't we not starting in the high school level of having people choose what they want to learn, right? And teaching things like entrepreneurship, personal finance, credit scores, how to, manage your personal credit, how to save your money. Like, instead we're teaching people things that really, unless you're going to be a doctor, an engineer, or a lawyer, like, they don't really matter. Yeah. So why are we teaching kids these things instead of teaching them the things that are relevant to today? Like why not have courses on how to run Facebook ads and, how to social media management, things like that. Like, we need to start getting the things that are relevant here today.
Like even credit, they need to learn about credit.
Yeah, they don't teach you about any of that. And then a lot of kids wind up going and screwing up their credit. I screwed up my credit because I didn't know anything. I didn't know I had to make my payments. Yeah. So luckily I got a lot of stuff removed. But like, when I first got a credit card, like, I was paying the minimum, and then I just couldn't afford it, so I just stopped paying it. And then my credit was like 500, and I wind up getting it fixed, but it's just something I didn't know. No one taught me. But the education is out there. The information is out there. You've got to nowadays, if this educational system's not going to provide it to you, you got to go out and get it. You got to do your research. YouTube, Google, it's all there for you to learn really anything you want to do, even some of the stuff that we're doing, right? E-commerce, solar, like it doesn't matter what you want to learn. It's out there. You just got to, be able to go out there and chase it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I like that. Well, I think we got a lot in there, right? I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
we'll have to definitely connect here in the future and, connect some more just outside of here and outside of seeing each other at the craps table. We won a bunch of money last week. That was pretty fun.
That was a good one.
You teaching me how to play. I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just throwing the dice. And
hey, we did good though.
We did. I mean, got
had to
myself
get rid
a
of
nice,
the other energy, at the roulette table.
got myself a nice Gucci duffel bag, courtesy of El Cortez.
Yeah.
I could have used it to cancel out some of the donations I made, earlier in the year. But yeah, man, let's connect and let's definitely work together on some stuff.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on the podcast, bro. I appreciate that.